Can the Red Sox just decide if they suck or not yet? We're in fucking September. We don't know if they actually suck or not. I think the answer is yes, they do suck. This is the Cam Show, powered by Rogue Media Sports Network. And it goes from bad to worse. The Red Sox lose their 4th straight game and are still somehow only 4.5 games out of a wild card spot. How is that possible? I mean, this team, they can't do anything right the last month. This was a team that was in a comfortable position at the trade deadline. They failed that trade deadline big time. We weren't even expecting big things. It's going back to the cardboard box cutout that I have referenced 2 days in a row. Our expectations were low, but holy fuck. No one was expecting them to be a World Series team, but they were comfortably a playoff team, or at least comfortably in that wild card race. And the wheels fell off. They did have the toughest schedule in the second half, but it's not even necessarily been that. They just lost the series to the Mets. And the worst part is everyone else sucks big time. Minnesota, 4-6 in their last 10. Kansas City, 3-7 in their last 10. What are the Red Sox in their last 10? Right there with them at 3-7. Just suck a little bit less than you are right now, and you're in the playoffs. But they can't help themselves. They can't do that. That's what's so frustrating, man. And it's every night it's something. It's, bases loaded, no out, 1 run. It's Cooper Criswell throwing a perfect game through a couple of innings, and you pull him just to throw in a bullpen day the next day too. It's what the fuck was that for? It just doesn't. I said this about the Rangers a couple weeks ago when Scott Service got fired from the Mariners, in saying that, man, that must be frustrating for the Rangers fans. They obviously won the World Series last year. They brought almost the whole team back. It's a good team. And here, one of your direct rivals has fallen out, completely free fell in August, and you can't do anything about it. Zach, is that accurate as the Rangers fan in the room?
Yeah, no, for sure.
That's not even throwing shade. I'm just saying that's got to be frustrating as a Rangers
Very
fan.
much so.
One of these teams, you knew Houston was going to make a run.
Mm-hmm.
And Seattle's a good team. They've been a playoff team, and they have just fallen. The bottom has fallen out, and the Rangers can't do anything about it.
You're too far behind to do anything. Yeah.
That's how it's feeling right now with the Red Sox in this wild card race. Minnesota and Kansas City don't know their ass from their armpit right now, and the Red Sox are even worse. It's like a couple of monkeys trying to hump a football. It's fucking brutal. That's a good Herb Brooksism right there.
That is. My grandpa used to use that one a lot.
Great Herb Brooks one. I had to pay homage to Minnesota there. But it's just so frustrating. And Cutter Crawford says after the game, oh, yeah, if we win 5 in a row, we'll be right back in this thing. Which is true, but it really would have been great the last 5 when the other teams you're going up against the wild card race have completely shit their pants. Yeah, but we'll win. If we win 5 in a row, we'll be good. Next week, it's if we go on a 10-game winning streak, we'll be all right. If we win out to close the year in mid-September, I think we'll be fine. That's what's frustrating. They just need to suck a little bit less than they are right now, and they can't. They can't help themselves. They can't do it. And I am seeing the cynic in me is seeing the perfect opportunity to shit on this team, and that is this weekend. They are playing in a weekend set at home, one of the worst teams in the history of baseball, one of the worst teams in the history of the 4 major North American professional sports. The Chicago White Sox have won 5 of their last 50 games.
I saw a stat yesterday too that Zach Greinke, the pitcher,
I remember
was pretty decent hitter as well.
Yes.
Had a career slugging percentage of 336 as a pitcher. The White Sox team as a whole is only 338 for the whole season. So essentially, Zach Greinke was the same. It's a team full of Zach Greinkes.
That's brutal.
It is, but that's what it comes down to. Another thing that I just wanted to add in, just to get your opinion on with all of this, because I saw it last night. I
could talk about the White Sox forever.
Well, it's Red Sox related because it's a tweet from Pete Abraham.
Oh, can I do one more thing?
You go ahead.
Jay Cuda. Have you ever seen this guy on Twitter?
Maybe, I think so.
Very funny guy and a White Sox fan. Like he'll do like random edits. He'll be like, "This is what Wrigley Field would look like if it had a monster truck infield." Like, just like random shit like that. And like he does a bunch of White Sox stats. He's a big White Sox fan. So this has really paid off this year because they suck.
Yeah.
So they're 5-45 in their last 50. No team has been that bad across 50 games in over 100 years. That's unbelievable. And like, this is the kind of stats he do. Numbers of teams that have been shut out by 14 plus runs, have been shut out 14 plus times this season. He does it by division. NL Central has 0, NL East has 0, NL West has 0, AL West has 0, AL East has 0, the AL Central has 3. That's the White Sox, baby. Number of times getting shut out this year. The AL Central leads that as a division by 17. They're so awful. They're so like
bad.
It's so funny. It is so funny to track this. And if you see their attendance, if you took like their attendance from every game, I don't know this as canon. I'm just seeing like these figures every day. I think if you took the White Sox attendance from every home game since the All-Star break, I don't know if you combine those all together that they would fill the ballpark. No. Anyway, give me my Pete Abe tweet.
Oh, I will. Another thing that I wanted to add, just while we were talking about the White Sox, because I also
the team the
saw
Red Sox
this
are
the other
lose
day.
2 out of 3 to this weekend. They have lost the series to the White Sox this year, which is pitiful.
As of 2 days ago, the White Sox had another related milestone that the team lost its 20 consecutive game in which Chris Flexen started, which was a new record since 1900. The previous mark was 19, set in 1909. So yeah, no, the Pete Abraham tweet that I saw from last night after the series loss
1909,
to the Mets.
The defending world champions were the Cubs, by the way.
Yeah. Funeral atmosphere in the Red Sox clubhouse. Devers was at his locker in full uniform for about 30 minutes, holding a bat and just staring straight ahead.
Yep. So Cutter Crawford's out there saying, yeah, if we win 5 in a row, we'll be fine. The other team, it's a morgue. It's a funeral home in that locker room. And by the way, Devers just like refused to talk to the media last night, had them waiting for almost an hour and did not talk to them. Oh, man. There's no sport like baseball in getting unlikable guys. And by the way, Rafi Devers is a very likable player overall, but pulling something like that when the team really sucks and you've got beat writers who are there every day, who are following you on the road to watch this suck happen, and you can't give them any time. That's shitty. That is shitty. But they still have hope, Zach. They think they could put 5 wins together.
Hey, 3 against the White Sox on paper should happen.
That is what the doctor would order, right? Let's look at their schedule here. A weekend set at home against the White Sox. That should be it. Like in theory, though, a couple of games against the Mets should have been it. But let's pull it out to the weekend. A little Friday, Saturday, Sunday after finishing up against the Mets tonight. You've got the White Sox at home, then Baltimore at home, then at the Yankees right after that. So you sure as shit better sweep that series against Chicago. Is there, look, I get it. Baseball, 2 out of 3 ain't bad. Is there any less of an excuse I've ever had for a Red Sox team to sweep a series? Did that make any sense grammatically? Probably not. But there's never been a time where the Red Sox needed to sweep a series more, where there's more of an expectation for a series sweep than a home weekend series against like one of the worst teams in the history of baseball, and former Red Sox Grady Sizemore managing the club. Like we're running out of time here. Yeah. Baltimore, then the Yankees, Tampa on the road, whatever. 3 against Minnesota, who are you in direct competition with for that wild card spot? Toronto, the buses are already warm, so how can you fuck that one up? And then Tampa at home to close out the series. They will already be on their vacations too.
Yeah, no, I would think that you need to desperately, and it's weird to say that desperately considering how bad the White Sox are, but get those wins with the schedule I have coming up. Also this weekend are coming up. I think the Royals finish out their series with Cleveland, and then they have a 3-game series against Minnesota and a 3-game series against the Yankees after that. So if you want to make up room in that for that last wild card spot, this is the weekend to do it.
This is it. Or else the Red Sox could keep their streak alive. There could be a three-peat of 78 and 84 records. That is still on the table. The Red Sox are now 70 and 69. This is from Alex Spear. They have a run differential of 0. Oh, how mid is this team? Tom Caron from Nesson goes on to add 661 runs scored, 661 runs allowed. They were 10 games over 500 and a plus 41 run differential at the All-Star break. That is down to 1 game over 500 and down 41 runs in the second half of the season. Fucking brutal.
Another thing,
Lucas Sims, Luis Garcia, Danny Jansen, ass. All ass. All your trade deadline acquisitions. You cut Dom Smith. I get it. But he's more of a major league player than any of those three guys. Any of those three guys combined. I would rather keep Dom Smith's bat in the lineup.
Is he a Met now?
He was a Met. He's a Red now.
Sorry, my bad.
Red now. He was a Met. And but it's the best their farm system has looked in a decade. So there you go. And go off of that. Roman Anthony just named the number 2 prospect in all of baseball. That's fantastic. So Red Sox fans, 3 or 4 years from now, the way this organization moves in the front office, you're going to have a decent baseball team. It's been pretty mid the last 3 years, and you've had one good season in the last 5 or 6 years. But in 3 years from now, boy golly, watch out for those Red Sox. It's an embarrassment. Now, it is important to keep perspective because I went into the season thinking they were going to be, with Oakland, maybe the worst team in the American League. I really thought that. And they kept a playoff position up through the All-Star break and more and longer. But here we are in September. The other 2 teams that they're competing for the wild card race with have absolutely shat down their leg. And the Red Sox were like, hold my beer, I can do it even worse. You want to see shitting down a leg? I'll show you shitting down a leg. You want to go 3-7 in your last 10? How about I do that too, baby? Fucking hell. What happened? What happened to this team, man? Oh, good Lord. Another year without postseason baseball is very much on the horizon. And it comes to a point where you wonder, what is the standard here anymore? We're wondering that with the Patriots. Just 2 years ago, they were saying anything less than the playoffs is a failure. And now they're talking about having fun and getting better every week. That's a failure. That is a failure of a standard. That's an organizational standard that has fallen flat on its face and saying, we got to change everything. That's how bad we are. The Red Sox have been there the last 2 years because their front office has gone out and shown you in the offseason, we don't give a shit about making the playoffs because we're not making our roster good enough to do that. We're not really tanking. We are building a bit of a farm system. By the way, after 2021, the Red Sox said, we don't want Kyle Schwarber. We don't think he fits into our plans. And in a heat of the moment rage that I had in the 2021 postseason, I said they shouldn't have re-signed him. Like 2 days later, I had changed my mind. But that's neither here nor there. This guy that the Red Sox did not think was good enough. How about this for a stat? There have been 2 games in MLB history where a player has had 6+ RBI, 5+ times on base, 4+ extra base hits, 3+ homers, a leadoff homer, a homer in the 9th or later. Now, that's very much cherry-picking stats. I know. There's only been 2 times in MLB history that's happened. Kyle Schwarber has done them both within the last 30 days. But without cherry-picking, you could see, I mean, he had a monster night again last night in Toronto. 3 homers, 6 RBI. Like, just absolutely crushing the ball. Led the league in homers, last year, the year before. The Red Sox didn't want that guy. They said, he doesn't fit into our plans. We don't want him. We got Bobby Dahlbeck. Why would we keep Kyle Schwarber if we have fucking Bobby Dahlbeck? That's what I love about this franchise now. This team used to talk about 95 wins, winning the division, and playing in the World Series. That used to be the standard. Theo Epstein, that was the standard. Terry Francona, 95 wins. They looked at a Yankee team in the early to mid-aughts that was still had the core of their dynasty, and they said, fuck that. We're going to go right after them. We're not making excuses. We're not going to give a shit. We got a big payroll too. We can go out there and get some guys. And they did it. They went head-to-head and they beat them for the first time in a century. And now that is no longer the standard. We can't. The Orioles have been building this for years. The Yankees, they got so much money. We're just worried about building a farm system here. Is this fucking Tampa? Is that what this is? Go buy some bargain bin guys at the trade deadline. They all suck. Breslow's 0 for 2 in his windows so far. But it's important to keep perspective because, again, I thought this was the last place team coming into the year. That's not an excuse. That's an organizational failure once again because they built a team that looked like a quadruple A roster. And now they hook you in just enough. They play just well enough. They've got you on the fucking line that you're going to be pissed in September when they're not in a playoff spot, when they're blowing it every day. That's what this team's doing to you now. They had the decency to get you to hop off the bandwagon in June or July the last few years. This year, they strung you all the way along until September. And Connor Crawford, not speaking too loud because it's a fucking funeral inside the clubhouse, is saying, no, we're still in this. We just need to win 5 in a row. Win 1 in a row. Let's start there. Maybe 2? Oh, boy. Maybe we call that a winning streak. Well, let's start there because it has not been there. Detroit served you your ass on a fucking platter this weekend, and the Mets just did the same thing. And I'm worried about winning 5 in a row, which would go into the Yankees series. Beating Baltimore and winning this series against Baltimore and at New York. 5 in a row. Bullshit, man.
We are Rogue Media Sports.